instead of saying, I'm afraid that once again, my mom will tell me she's not happy with my career choice and that I need to get a real job in the corporate sector like my sister, or I'm dreading having to hear my uncle's brother's passive-aggressive comments about my request to honor pronoun choices. Just say to yourself, as I'm thinking about going back home for the holidays and seeing my family, I'm noticing I'm experiencing fear, or I'm noticing I'm feeling a sense of dread, or I'm feeling anxious. And then, as you just name the feeling without a story, notice that this feeling is not you.
I don't like to argue, so I say nothing and fume for days.
How do I set boundaries without sounding like a jerk?
I hate the idea that I might accidentally offend somebody, so sometimes I'd just rather say nothing at all.
Welcome to the Language Alchemy Podcast, and thank you for joining me today. This is your host, Alejandra Siroca, a transformative communication teacher and coach devoted to helping you have more peace and more harmony in your life and all your relationships. We're approaching a time of the year that tends to be sensitive for so many people. That is the holiday season. The holiday season can bring a sense of hope and joy for some people and a sense of hopelessness and anxiety for others. So I will devote some podcast episodes to talking about family communication during the holidays. In this episode, I will talk about the feelings that the holidays bring and offer you some ways to work with them. If you are like many of the people I support, you may not have seen your family in a while, and you may need to travel back, quote unquote, home to a place that doesn't really feel like home anymore, a place that may elicit anxiety, frustration, or overwhelm. And so much has happened during this past year and a half with the pandemic, the social tensions, the political divisiveness, the new awakenings about racial and gender disparities, the disagreements about vaccines that, as the holidays approach, you may find yourself hoping for another shorter family holiday celebration over Zoom. You know, the kind of celebration where the beginning time and the ending time were clearly defined. The kind of virtual celebration where people took turns to speak and where there was less room for conflict. For a lot of people, the virtual family celebrations offered a certain level of protection because they didn't have the space to reveal too much. A client of mine said, I used the gallery view option, and when I saw my family in tiny rectangles, that made the whole thing amusing and actually enjoyable. He said, after all, I came from these people. We share ancestors, culture, rituals, history, and that may have been your experience too. Many of my clients said that seeing all their members of their families on one screen gave them a sense of gratitude and belonging because they could see that they have all survived. But now, things may be different for you as well. Now, maybe you are remembering that person in your family who has very different political ideas than yours, and you may be anxious about what kind of conversations you will have this time. Or you may be scared that people won't behave safely and wear masks or get too close to one another or have contact with people who aren't vaccinated. Or maybe you are not vaccinated and you believe that your family is ridiculous for asking you to wear a mask and keep your distance. Or maybe for years now, most of the previous times you all got together, there was some kind of drama, some kind of family pain, and you're really dreading the idea of repeating history. So what can you do with all these feelings? Well, I have some suggestions that have helped yours truly with her family and so many of my coaching clients with theirs. The first thing that's important to do is to acknowledge Whatever feelings you're currently having, they are there. So make space for them. Name them. Is it fear? Is it anxiety? Trepidation? Dread? Once you name the feeling, remove any kind of story about it. So instead of saying, I'm anxious that my cousin will ask me about my love life, or I'm afraid that once again, my mom will tell me she's not happy with my career choice and that I need to get a real job in the corporate sector like my sister, or I'm dreading having to hear my uncle's brother's passive-aggressive comments about my request to honor pronoun choices. Instead of saying any of these things, just say to yourself, as I'm thinking about going back home for the holidays and seeing my family, I'm noticing I'm experiencing fear, or I'm noticing I'm feeling a sense of dread, or I'm realizing I'm feeling anxious. And then, as you just name the feeling without a story, just the feeling, as you name the feeling, notice that this feeling is not you. That's right. You are not your feelings. This feeling is a body sensation, a fluctuation of energy, a constriction, a contraction, a gripping somewhere in your body. So now bring your attention to that part of your body that is sort of hosting the sensation of the feeling, and bring your breath towards that part of the body. Once you can breathe into it, allow yourself to notice that most of your body may feel something different, such as curiosity about a cousin's new partner, or eagerness to see how much the children in your family have grown, or perhaps even a sense of gratitude that you were able to see everyone on little rectangles on a screen last year, and that all of you, or most of you, have made it. So connect to that sense of gratitude or resilience of your family. And as you let in the physical sensation of gratitude, allow yourself to name the people in your family you are grateful to see in person. Say their names out loud. Even if you're still here with me listening to the podcast, say their names and notice what doing that does in your body. Maybe you notice you feel calmer, more grounded, or more spacious. And if so, relish in those sensations. Those are feelings too. You see, this is a great way to work with feelings you don't enjoy having. And this is a wonderful strategy for you to use in your internal communication, the one that happens with yourself inside of you. Now, there's something else you can do as you are noticing you're having feelings you don't like having as you are going to go and spend time with your family. You can do this while you're traveling, as long as you're not driving, or just before you travel to spend the holidays with your family. If you're going to be there for a few days, just know that what I'm recommending here will only take 5 minutes, so I know you can do this. Grab a piece of paper and pen. It actually works better if you do use pen and paper. And if, like me, you are aspiring to use less paper, write it on the back of an envelope you got on the mail. Or use a little whiteboard that you can erase and reuse later. Now, give yourself 5 minutes and brainstorm a list of things you're curious about the members in your family, the ones that you're going to be spending time with. What are some things you don't know about them that you would like to know? Write that down. Are you curious about a trip that someone took when they were much younger? Would you like to know how someone in your family got their name, chose the career they're in, decided to move to another part of the country? Would you like to know why your aunt always has a scarf around her neck? Have you ever wondered about the story of some objects in your grandma's house? So whatever it is that you would like to know about your family, write that down. Then you can use your phone and take a picture of what you wrote. And as you're spending time with family, go over that list and approach people and talk about those topics. And as you do, notice how it feels to do this. Because when you choose how you want to connect with people who have been in your life for years, you are bringing aliveness, healing, and kindness to your life, to your family, and the people who are yet to be a part of it. As usual, let me know how it goes. It's truly delightful for me to hear from you. It nourishes my heart, and it invites me to keep offering free transformative communication tools to you. All right, as we reach this part of the podcast episode, let's recap what I shared with you. We talked about what it may have been like for you to have virtual holiday celebrations with your family during the past 18 months. We talked about the uncomfortable feelings that may emerge for you as you go back to your family to spend the holidays in person. And finally, I shared with you 2 ways for you to work with your uncomfortable feelings so that you can not only enjoy the holidays with your family, but also shift your experience and bring connection, peace, and healing to the relationship with every member of your family. Whatever you celebrate, I am wishing you happy holidays. Thank you so much for listening, and a special thanks to my client Catherine for learning to shift her experience as she spends more time with family. You will hear from me next week, and as we say in Argentina, ciao ciao. Original music by Gary LaPoe. You can find all links in the show notes at languagealchemy.com.